Hello again, music fans. It is Gordon Majak here, back with another episode, back with part two, not four, two. Part two of our big Saturday triple play with Supertramp. My guys, man. Part one there, a minute ago, we had Sister Moonshine, a great song from that Crisis What Crisis album. And as I promised at the end, we're going to jump up to 1977. When did this record come out? April, looks like late March, early April of 1977. It was Supertramp's Even in the Quietest Moments album. Now, that is an actual piano sitting outside in actual snow at the Eldora Ski Resort in Nederland, Colorado, just a few miles down the road from the famous Caribou Ranch recording studio, where this album, the bulk of this album was recorded there in late 76 and early 77. And they apparently drug an actual piano, although it had been gutted, fortunately, wisely. They drug an actual piano out there to the Eldora Ski Resort, set it up, left it overnight, let it get nice and snowy, came back and took a beautiful album shot, one of those legendary shots that looks like it was faked, and yet it is so real. And there are the beautiful Colorado Rocky Mountains in the background. What a shot. And what an album, man. Now, this was the one year, the weird thing in my relationship with Supertramp, this is the year, 77, that I was tied up in all this other stuff, and I was sort of away from some of my Supertramp friends, and the album, my attention sort of lagged after this album came out. It took me a while to sort of catch up with this album. And because I wasn't living in my, where I had been living previously with around all my Supertramp friends, I was temporarily on the other side of the state over there. And so I sort of got out of the loop with Supertramp, and this was the year that, unfortunately, as I said previously in a video for them, I missed the tour. I was not able to go see them on the Even in the Quietest Moments tours. Of course, my friends all did, but I did make up for it by getting to see them twice on the Breakfast in America tour, and I had already seen them once on the previous tour for Crisis What Crisis. But yeah, back there in the day, man, I was bummed that I missed out on this tour, Even in the Quietest Moments. And as I said, it took me just a little while to catch up to the album. Of course, the big hit on this album was the Roger Hodgson, probably the biggest hit of Supertramp's career, right? Give a Little Bit. Remember that one? That was a huge hit there in 77 for Roger and Supertramp. But we are going to hear, all of their albums are just so ridiculously deep. You can just go track by track all the way into their albums, right? And it's so good and so deep. But we are going to hear a song that is just absolutely, I think, a Stone Cold Supertramp classic, a Rick Davies classic, and a Gordon Majak personal favorite. And every time I ever saw them, they always did this song live. I think it was a very popular song within the band as well. And I think the guys in the band enjoyed playing this one. And what can you say? Just like we always talk about how great Roger Hodgson was there on guitars and keyboards and vocals and composing so many of the great Supertramp songs. At the same time, we have to give it up max respect for the great Rick Davies himself. Such a great composer and arranger, a great keyboardist. Some of his piano and organ and keyboard lines on these songs are just epic unto themselves. Of course, those really raw, bluesy vocals that are such a nice counterbalance to the Roger Hodgson vocal sound. You put those two guys together, what incredible chemistry. And Rick Davies, as I said, just a huge talent in his own right, and such a great balance, just that dynamic playback back and forth with Roger Hodgson and Rick Davies, and the way they balance out each other in the group, the yin and the yang, and the way all of that comes together with the other three guys there, as I mentioned, John Helliwell on the woodwinds and the keyboards and some background vocals, Dougie Thompson on bass, and the great Bob Siebenberg on drums. What a band and what a sound. And as I said, this was a song that once I did catch up to this album, after I moved back to town here and I sort of got back around my Supertramp buddies again and I got familiar with what was going on while I was gone. And I finally got a chance to jump into this album. and get all the way through it. And oh my goodness, what a great album. Another great Supertramp classic album and another classic Supertramp song. 6 minutes and 50 seconds, and this is pure Supertramp magic. Come on.
I tell you from the start, he's gonna break your heart. You can't stop the lover boy. You can't stop the lover boy. He's gonna tell you lies, but you won't realize, because you can't stop the lover boy. You can't stop the lover boy.
God, I hate to stop this because this song is just so incredible. But here we go again, talking about the dynamics and Supertramp, the absolute masters of dynamics. And listen to this change that's coming. I won't stop it again, but this is just one of those changes. This is like rock music history here coming up, folks. I'll back it up a little bit, but just this change here dynamically, this shift in the song, just unbelievable. Listen to this.
But you won't realize, because you can't stop the lover boy. You can't stop the lover boy. He's got a thing in his head. It's on a book he's read.
6 minutes and 50 seconds, and it goes by like that. What an unbelievable song, an incredible arrangement, just an incredible arrangement. Another Rick Davies classic, such a unique signature sound that dude had where he was coming from compositionally and with his arrangements, just so dynamic and punchy, and they always had that rock edge, a really hard rock edge, such a dramatic edge in his songs, and he was really able to pull that up in his vocals as well. So much soul and so much really that bluesy sound in his vocals. And that band, man, the rest of those guys, doesn't matter who was writing the song or who was singing it. That's what's so incredible about Supertramp. The great balance between Roger Hodgson and Rick Davies. But God, those three guys on the back line, so much groove and just soul on the back line with Dougie Thompson on bass and the great Bob Siebenberg just swinging the hell out of those grooves. Not just on this song, especially on this song, but on all this great Supertramp. What a sound. Nobody ever sounded like Supertramp, right? Isn't that just obvious? They carved out such a unique niche, and it's just crazy to think that their heyday there, their big run, happens in the span of 5 years with those 4 albums. But I'll tell you, man, you got those 4 albums. That is one incredible catalog of music. So much stuff, and all these years later, this stuff still, and we're coming up on the 50, so it'll be in a couple of years, it'll be the 50-year anniversary of Crime of the Century to sort of kick off that era there, the classic era of Supertramp. We're not even to the 50-year mark yet, but this stuff still sounds so punchy and so dynamic, and it's engineered so well, of course. It just sounds so great. And those guys, man, playing the heck out of those instruments and the way they just fit together so tight. I mean, just unbelievable. Supertramp, such a unique sound. Unbelievable, these records, man. I could go Loverboy, this whole album. I mean, there's like 4 other songs on this album that I would love to play right now. But I'm not going to do it. We're going to jump up to Breakfast in America for our 3rd and final installment of the Big Saturday Triple Play. Let's see what we're going to do on the next one. See you there. What does that say? Gotta have 'em in Texas, 'cause everyone's a millionaire. It's almost like a little rap thing going on there. Let's see what they're talking about in that one. Coming up next. We're right back in a second. 3, 2, 1, go. Loverboy, man, what a song, and live, man, just as powerful as you can imagine.